Do you think The Princess Bride is just a cute little fairy tale? Think again. This movie is smarter, darker, and weirder than you remember. It's romance, adventure, comedy, sword fights, and giants, all wrapped up into an 80s movie masterpiece. And yes, there are secrets hidden in plain sight that will blow your mind if you've only watched it once. Throughout this video, we will reveal them: the ROUSs, Andre's height, behind-the-scenes chaos, and Easter eggs. Did you know, for instance, that Cary Elwes, who played Wesley, almost got seriously injured during the sword fights? And that's not the wildest part. Wait until you hear about how Andre the Giant's 7'4" frame turned every scene with him into a balancing act of chaos and craziness. Now, Wesley isn't just a charming farm boy. Cary trained for months with a fencing coach just to make sure every duel looked believable. During one take, Andre the Giant accidentally swung his enormous right hand where Elvis was supposed to land, and luckily timing and agility saved the day. Later on in this video, we'll see how Andre's size made filming both comedic and challenging. And speaking of tension, Inigo Montoya's quest for revenge isn't just dramatic flair. Why does he only show real emotion at the very end? Well, Mandy Patinkin had said that it was all about timing. Inigo's focus on revenge masks his grief until he finally confronts the man who killed his father, making that moment cathartic and totally unforgettable. That build-up is why audiences still cheer decades later. And it's not just a sword fight, it's the emotional climax of his journey. And of course, Prince Humperdinck and the Zini are more than stock villains. The Zini's oversized hat that he wears? Ego. Humperdinck's castle? Obsession with control. And the Battle of Wits scene isn't just funny, it's a brilliant nod to classic logic puzzles that Cary Elwes loved. And have you ever noticed that the Dread Pirate Robert ship, the design wasn't just for show. Every detail from the sails on the deck was crafted to make the ship feel like a living part of the story, instantly believable as a legendary pirate vessel. And the ROUSs, rodents of unusual size, these weren't just silly monsters. They were actually brought to life using a mix of puppetry, trained rats, and actors in costumes, which made them both threatening and hilarious. Filming them was chaotic, but that resulted in scenes that are unforgettable, iconic, and still quoted and parodied today. And Fezzik. Of course, we all love Fezzik. He was one of our favorite characters in the movie. Well, some of us was our favorite character in the movie. Fezzik was played by Andre the Giant, who was 7'4". He wasn't just a visual spectacle. His gentle humor and improvised lines, yes, he improvised a lot of his lines, added heart to a story full of sword fights and chaos. Every scene with him walking to the frame became comedy gold, but also became incredibly tricky to film because of his size. And you also might be wondering also, did the romance between Buttercup and Wesley feel believable, or was it all just like 1980s cheese? Well, Buttercup isn't a passive damsel. She teases, she tests, and she outwits Wesley at every turn. Their banter is clever, romantic, and full of tension, exactly what keeps modern audiences engaged. And that 80s charm works because it's rooted in character, not just costumes or setting. And the grandfather narration? Almost a last-minute replacement. Peter Falk wasn't the first choice, but his voice gave the movie that timeless storybook quality. Without him, the magic would have felt off. Orson Welles was the first choice, but he passed on it. Luckily, Peter Falk stepped in, and his narration became a key element connecting the fairy tale frame to the audience. And Mandy Patinkin was considered too young for Inigo. And Cary Elwes almost quit over fencing intensity. And Andre's height made him a challenge to place on set safely. But every problem became part of what made this movie feel so alive. That's why scenes like the fencing duel or the castle escape remain unforgettable to this very day. And you know the quotes like inconceivable and have fun storming the castle. They've survived decades. But how does such an offbeat mix of genres stick in pop culture forever? Clever writing, unforgettable performances, and perfect pacing. The mix of comedy, romance, and adventure makes this movie endlessly quotable, memeable, and generationally shareable. And here's a subtle one most people miss. Every set, every costume and prop communicates personality. From Vizzini's hat to Humperdinck's immaculate castle, the visual storytelling reinforces characters in ways that dialogue alone can't, adding both depth and timelessness to the movie. But decades later, The Princess Bride still remains relevant because it blends timeless storytelling with unforgettable characters, clever humor, and emotional depth. It's a mix of adventure, romance, and comedy feels fresh even now. And with quotable lines, genre-bending fun, and memorable performances that keep it alive in pop culture today. And beyond the laughs and the action, the story's theme of love, friendship, courage, and revenge resonate with every generation, proving that a well-told tale can truly stand the test of time. All the little mysteries we teased, the near injuries, Andre's towering presence, the ROUSs, the Easter eggs, the almost recast narration, and Inigo's timing, now you know the secrets behind them. This movie isn't just a fairy tale, it's a masterclass in storytelling, full of clever writing, unforgettable characters, and visual surprises that still work decades later. And maybe, just maybe, pay extra attention to the ROUSs, because next time you'll notice that they're actually scarier and funnier than you remember.